after 10 p.m. It was the dead of night. I was waiting for the bus alone. Suddenly, a man came out from behind me. He grabbed my hand. This happened when I was 19. After finishing high school, I went to a prestigious school abroad. Most of the students there worked part-time jobs in their free time. I was no exception. I got a job at a small coffee shop. I commuted by bus every day. The bus stop was just across the street from the coffee shop. Very convenient. It was about 10:15 that night. I was in charge of closing up. I sat on a bench at the bus stop. Since the bus wouldn't arrive until around 10:30, I was looking down at my phone. I could hear things. Cars passed by one after another on the street. After a while, I heard movement in the bushes behind me. I turned around, scared. I saw a man with a beard all over his face, stumbling towards me. This guy must be drunk. I could smell beer coming from his mouth. I was on high alert. I immediately reached into my bag, staring at the man. I fumbled for my pepper spray. He approached me with a smile. He asked, "Sister, do you have any change?" I shook my head. He sat down next to me. I took advantage of his inattention and moved slowly to the other side of the bench, afraid he might lash out. He was sitting there laughing and talking to himself. To be honest, I was a bit scared at that time. I was afraid he would do something to me. I considered walking directly home, but it would take at least 45 minutes to walk back. The bus would be here in a few minutes. If there was any danger, the bus driver could also help me. But if I went too far, it was really hard to say what could happen. While I was thinking, I heard the man start asking me some ridiculous questions. To stabilize his mood, I responded to him as politely as possible. But then he asked me, "Why don't we go on a date? What do you think?" I couldn't control my emotions at this time. I shook my head and told him I didn't want to. He seemed a little angry. He suddenly stood up and raged. He punched the bus stop sign. The bus stop sign was deformed by his punch. Then, he kept talking to himself at the bus stop. He said, "I'm honest, passionate about you too, and my looks are decent. Why don't girls give me a chance? Is it because I have no money? I will make you regret it." Hearing these words, I stood up quietly, pepper spray in hand. I just wish the bus would have arrived sooner. After a few minutes, I saw the lights of the bus shining from a distance, and that's when I took a breath. I looked at the man. He was still there, talking to himself. I cautiously walked past him. I wanted to walk to the side of the road to wait to get on the bus. That's when he grabbed me hard. He tried to turn my body to face him. My whole person spun around. I clenched my fists, reacting to the inertia. I punched him hard in the temple. He let go immediately. I hastily signaled to the bus, then rushed into the car. The man also wanted to run into the bus, but the smart driver closed the door immediately and drove away. When I got back to my apartment, I immediately called the police. Then one day, when I was resting at home, a colleague from the coffee shop called me. They said a man came to the store and asked for me. My colleague described what the person looked like. It sounded like the man from that night. He also said the man had a large bruise on his temple. Later, the manager of the coffee shop tried to arrange the morning shift for me. Every night shift, I would find a friend to accompany me home. A few months later, I quit the coffee shop. I never saw that man again. I hope I never meet him again.